Good morning.
Good morning.
I would like to remind everyone to please make sure that all cell phones are turned to the off or vibrate position, and also please be advised that our city council meetings are broadcast on Comcast Channel 99, AT&T UVerse, the City of Gadsden YouTube channel, and WMGJ Radio. This meeting of the Gadsden City Council will now come to order. The chair calls on City Clerk Ivan Nelson for the roll call.
Councilwoman Toles.
Here.
Councilman Williams.
Here.
Worthy.
Here.
Back.
Here.
Wilson.
Here.
Cannon.
Here.
And Reed.
Here.
We have a quorum present and our meeting is open for business. I'm going to ask Councilman Williams to lead the invocation. Please stand and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Father, we thank you for the opportunity to gather here today. Lord God, we thank you for all of those in attendance. Father, we ask that you will continue to bless these proceedings. Father God, continue to cover these proceedings. Father God, touch each elected official here. Touch all those in attendance, Father God, that we may conduct decent and orderly proceedings, Father God. Continue to bless the city, Father God, that all of those within the city may be benefited, Father God, and through all that we do, may you be given the glory, the honor, and the praise. For it's in Jesus' name we ask it all. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the work session and council meeting held on December the 11th.
So moved. Second.
Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to approve minutes.
The chair will entertain a motion to ratify payments of accounts for the week of December the 7th through the 13th.
So moved. Second.
Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to ratify payment of the accounts.
Proclamation. There are no unfinished business today. Our first item is a resolution authorizing agreement with Barnett Jones and Wilson LLC, and this is for structural engineering service for a sidewalk reinforcement project located on Broad Street, and the amount is $1,000. The chair will entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
So moved. Second.
Is there any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
This is our first reading. This is an ordinance amending the City Code, Section 86-93, and this is regarding the assessment of the cost of nuisance abatement. The change would give the enforcing officials discretion on whether to assess costs on state-owned property and would exempt property of the Gadsden Land Bank Authority from assessment. This ordinance has been presented today and for first reading, and the council will vote on it next week. Is there any new business?
Yes, Madam President, I do have one item that I'd like to ask for consideration today. It's a resolution authorizing the funding agreement between the City of Gadsden and the Gadsden Land Bank Authority.
Second.
Those in favor to consider the resolution today as an item of new business, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, consent has been granted.
Move for adoption.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Yes, Madam President. This, as I stated earlier, is a funding agreement between the City of Gadsden and the Gadsden Land Bank Authority. Just like any board or advisory committee or any authority, the Gadsden Land Bank has to be able to function independently of the city. So this establishes essentially an agreement that allows for funding and the engaging in of cash transactions on behalf of the Gadsden Land Bank Authority that are separate and apart from the city. So the city won't be receiving cash or payments of any kind on behalf of the authority. The authority will now have the ability to do that on its own.
Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Is there any more new business?
Yes, Madam President, I would like to ask for immediate consideration of a resolution authorizing a lease with Honda Manufacturing Company of Alabama for Building T1, Sections A, B, C, D, and E, and Building T8, Sections A, B, C, and D, including the gravel lot across the street from the covered loading dock. So my understanding, Honda will be using this property for storage of some manufacturing equipment and raw materials.
Second.
Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to consider the resolution today under new business, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, consent has been granted.
Move for adoption.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Yeah. Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed,
Is there
Motion-
any more new
motion
business?
carries to adopt.
Is there any more new business?
Madam President, I have one. I'd like to bring up a resolution authorizing agreement with Cellco Partnership doing business as Verizon Wireless. There's no longer a yearly contract needed, and the calculated savings per month is $353.
Second.
Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to consider the resolution today under new business, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, consent has been granted.
Move for adoption.
Second.
Are there any discussion? If not, clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Do we have any reports from departments, committees, boards? At this time, we have a citizen request from Joseph Cole. Of
Good-
course, state your name.
Okay, my name is Joseph Cole from Atlanta, Georgia, by way of Gadsden, Alabama. Good morning to all. The last time I was here, I had brought up some issues to the council and also the mayor, some recommendations and suggestions. One of the things that I had asked about was a list of minority contractors. Councilor Wilson and Councilor Worthy asked me to go to the chamber and to get their help in trying to get the information that I needed. And I did go, and they were very helpful in some of the things that I was trying to do. Councilor Cannon also gave me some names of some minority vendors, businessmen. So what I am doing, I am now getting a list ready to turn over to the city of all minority businesses who are interested in doing work for the city. Hopefully, the city will accept this list. And also getting available for one of the general contractors in the city who wants to work with minority vendors. So he told me if I would supply him with a list, and that he would be glad to do that. So hopefully, when this list is given to the city and you do your bidding or whatever, that you would pass this list on to some of the contractors who may be interested in doing business with minority businesses. I also asked at that meeting for this council to consider appointing a citizen advisory board. Councilor Back informed me that day that his church, First Baptist, and Friendship was getting ready to have a joint meeting that following Sunday. I had a conference call with your pastor and also Pastor Dudley, who was very much involved in trying to do something about the racial divide in the city. And both of them said they would be willing to work if the city, wanted them to participate. So if you do decide to appoint a committee, I think both of them would make very good co-chairs. And also, Councilor Beck, I've also spoken to some of the constituents in your district who are also willing to do something about the racial divide in this city. The reason that I push that, so we have incidences happening in this state and all around, have police shooting and other things. If you have this type of committee involved in things, when things do happen, heaven forbid, nothing happens here, you would have a committee on top of basically keeping the community together, and things just won't get out of hand. So that was my reason for asking for that, and hopefully you will consider it. Also, several weeks ago, the mayor graciously decided, we had a meeting, very good meeting, and we worked out some misunderstandings that we both had on things, and the mayor also brought me up to date on a number of employment advantages here in this city and asked me to assist and to try to get some people to get some of these jobs. And I also asked the mayor about certain appointments that I wanted him to consider, and he accepted that, and we had a very, very good meeting. I think the mayor can attest to that. I believe that when people of goodwill want to meet, and you are sincere about what you're meeting on, you can accomplish things without having to always go to court or go to the EEOC. Sometimes you may have to, but I think you can meet and resolve differences if everyone involved wants to do that. Finally, I want to address an issue. The last time I was here, one of the council members stated that he was tired of all this old stuff, wanted some new information. He was tired of all of the dissension. In fact, he said he was damn tired. Those were his words and not mine.
That was me.
That was his words, not me.
I'm gonna let you know.
As I stated before, is that, as many as you know, I have been a strong advocate for increase in the police interest rate and their raise for them. And this same police force that I pushed for a raise, some years ago, some officers in the police department devised a plan to assassinate me. There was also a contract put on me by the Klan and others. So I'm here as an advocate for individuals, these businesses and people. As far as the city, you have the whole pie and you control the pie. I'm just trying to get opportunities for businesses and other people to get an opportunity to get a slice of the pie. Also, I want to say that same council person goes over this chambers, speak to a whole lot of people, has never spoken to me. But I'm not here trying to run a popularity contest or be concerned about people speaking to me. I respect each and every one of you in your positions and respect you personally. And you're going to respect me. But no one is going to dictate what I may and may not say. Madam President, thank you so very much for allowing me this time. And I want to say Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, excuse me, to each and every one of you, to all in the chamber, and to the viewing and also listening audience. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, if I may, Mr. Cole, would you
yes,
please stand
I'm
there for
sorry.
just a minute? I never did finish last month when you was here, and I appreciate you coming today. I didn't really give a good story about my story, what happened years and years ago, and if you'll bear with me, I'd like
Sure.
to just give you my story
Sure.
about hiring within and promoting within and all that. I didn't
Sure.
get to really actually tell you what I needed to say, I don't feel like.
Okay.
In 1977, I graduated from Emma Sansom High School. First person in my family to ever graduate. I came from a poor family. We were dirt poor, still dirt poor at this time, and proud of it, you know, what I've got. I'm proud I'm dirt poor. In 1979, my father got sick. My mother was sick. She was unable to work. And in 1979, March of 79, he passed away. I was 19 years old. Didn't know how I was going to support my mother. I wasn't married. Didn't know where the next meal was coming from. She had to have a lot of medicine to survive on. Couldn't get her any help nowhere. Finally, we tried to get her disability. It took 3 years maybe to get her on disability. I was working at a little electronics place here in Alabama City. Well, work was slim. You might work 8 hours one day and might work 2 hours the next day. Well, that was no way to try to feed my mother and feed myself and put food on the table and pay the utility bills. One day, this garbage truck pulled up behind this business that I was working at, and these two guys was in a hurry trying to dump all these garbage cans and pick up all these boxes. And I said, hey, what are y'all guys in a big hurry for? We're on task work. Task work means once you start at 7 o'clock, once you get through with that route, you went home then. It was a 3-man garbage truck. There was a driver and 2 laborers on the back. I sat there and thought about it for a few minutes, and the next day, the next 2 days or 3 days, they came back and was doing it, and I said, so y'all guys just work when y'all get through and y'all go home, you don't work 40 hours. They said, no, we get paid for 40, but we don't work 40. I was thinking, that would be a job I would like to have, and that way I'd get 40 hours every week, and I could support me and my mom. Well, it rocked on there. I thought about it a couple of days, and I thought, well, I could work over there if I could ever get home, and I could cut grass to deliver newspapers or whatever to make ends meet. So I came to the city, put in an application. It was in June or July, I guess it was. It was hot. I mean, it was hot out there. Back then in green pastures, I was over there. All the roads were dirt, you know. Most of them was dirt. It was just in the 70s now. You got to bear with me. So they called me for an interview, and I went for the interview, and the man told me, he said, we don't usually hire young guys like you. He said, they never work out. We always hire older people because they seem to stay back in those days. And I told him, I said, sir, I've got a mom to feed and myself, and she's sick, and I really, really, really need this job. He gave me a chance on that job. Well, I went the first day, and they put me off Tuscaloosa Avenue over there working on a garbage truck, and they told me to wear boots. I had steel-toe boots on. It was 100 degrees over there. I nearly passed out, and the truck tore up. The equipment was wore out. Truck tore up, and the guys with me kind of helped me get through that day. I came home, told my mom, I said, I'm going to have to do something else. I can't do this. And she said, well, we got to eat, and I've got to have my medicine. So next day, I went back and got on that garbage truck. And that was in 79. I stayed on a 3-man garbage truck, which was a driver and 2 laborers. I always labored on the back through garbage. Emptied those little cans, picked up the bags. If it was spilled around the can, I had to pick it up. Well, I did all that. 1988, I'm thinking it was, the city went to the automated cans, the automated trucks. I was out working on a route. I signed up for that job. Well, the supervision at that time got me and told me, you need to go to the airport. We're going to have a little training on these trucks, and we're going to see who can drive these $100,000 trucks, the 1-man garbage truck. I said, okay. So I'm still young. I'm 27, 28 years old. I get out there, and I go to the class, they have, and I get out there, and I do pretty good driving the garbage trucks, and they score me, on a little test. Well, lo and behold, I'm one of the 2 people that drives a garbage truck. Well, the union came along and said that I couldn't drive one because the people had seniority on me that had been in that department, so they took that garbage truck away from me on seniority-wise. Well, I didn't get mad. I had 2 children at home. I had to work, and a wife. At that time, my mom had passed away, and I had to take care of my family. Well, I left that truck, which I couldn't do anymore. I went to a loader truck, which is loading brush off the side of the road. I worked that job for 3 or 4 years, but to back up, in 88 or 89, somewhere in that year, you had to have CDL license. You had to go and pass a test to get CDL license to drive the city trucks with air brakes and stuff. So I had to take a test, general knowledge and air brakes. I went up there to Gunnersville and took the test. I was the first city employee in the city of Gadsden to ever get my CDL license, the very first one. I came back, and I wanted to benefit myself, so I went back and took a tanker's test where I could drive a city water truck. I drove a city water truck for a while. I got off that job, and I went back to driving a sweeper sweeping the streets, because I had tanker license. I could do that. I went to sweeping the streets. All those were good jobs. I'd been here forever, my whole life, Only job I wanted to work. In Shortly after that period of time, they posted some mosquito jobs, spraying for mosquitoes. I thought I wanted to be a mosquito sprayer. I went to school to learn how to spray for mosquitoes. And I did that for a while. Then lo and behold, the supervisor in that department comes up to me, and I've got 13, 14, maybe 15 years, and says, "We're laying you off. We're job elimination. You're going to get laid off." And I'm thinking, how am I going to get laid off? I've got these other people working under me. And he said, "If you don't want to get laid off, go back to City Hall and talk to the personnel director." I went up here, and in mind, I'm getting laid off. Remember, they're laying me off. The city's laying me off. I come to the personnel office. There's another man up there besides me. He's getting laid off too. He says, "I'm getting $1 an hour raise." I said, "You're getting $1 an hour raise?" He said, "Yes." He said, "I got laid off in the same situation you did, and I'm signing this loader job back." And he got $1 an hour raise, so I did too. So I got laid off, but I didn't get laid off, and I got $1 an hour raise, which that didn't make sense to me. So I went on there a little bit, and then I finally signed a dresser, which is a big old piece of equipment you drove on the road, and you picked up brush. You loaded 2 trucks. I was a crew leader at that time, had 2 trucks under me and 3 men. Well, they worked for a long time, and I did that for a long time. And they couldn't find anybody that could keep up with the leaves in the city of Gadsden. They needed a supervisor to take care of the leave department. And I didn't sign the job. They just asked me. They didn't post it. They just asked me. I'd been there 19 years probably. So I didn't sign. I went on that job and worked it. Every leaf season, that was my job. They gave me a little car, and I had all those people under me. I could tell where to go and how to get the leaves up. And I worked on the trucks when they tore up at that period of time. And when I did that, there was another gentleman that in supervision, he retired. And he kind of took me under his wing and told me, "You're going to have this job right here. When I retire, you'll have this job." Well, he retired.
Wind it up, Johnny.
Yeah, I am. I'm sorry. I'm just wanting to make sure Mr. Cole gets to the point here. I don't think it's really fair that I get to hear Mr. Cole and he don't get to hear all my points.
Okay.
But I'm going to wrap it up. It ain't going to take me long. I just want Mr. Cole to understand where I'm coming from. And I appreciate you standing
Yeah,
there,
go ahead. No
giving me
problem.
your time, because my eyesight's not that good. And when you're over there, I like to talk to
That's
people
fine. No
right
problem.
up on us,
No
where I
problem.
can see you. Well, I'm on that over the leave department. I do that for maybe 2 years. And when leave season's over, I go back to my dresser, the tractor with my crew. Well, I'm promised I'm going to have this supervisor job. I'm promised. Well, nobody never posts it. My pay never goes up, none of that stuff. So they come the next year and they say, "We want you to be in charge of leaves again." And my first thing is no. I say no. Well, they talked me into it. I said, "There's no more money. I'm just happy where I am." So I went ahead and did it again. Well, the next year, I started doing it. Well, I did it most of the year. Then one Friday, they told me to go home early. I'd had a bunch of time built up, and they told me to go home early. And I wasn't in management, because management doesn't get any overtime, doesn't get any comp time. Management does not get anything but their salary, their pay. They don't get any comp time. If anybody tells you management gets comp time, that is a story. Well, I went home that day, and I had a little office there at the city. And I noticed that when I came there that Monday, some of my stuff was moved around, and I didn't pay attention. I was sitting there lining everybody up to work. And one of the supervisors come in and said, "Do you notice anything different?" And I said, "No, except some of my stuff's moved." He said, "Well, look at the door." Had another gentleman's name on the door that came up here from City Hall on the 3rd floor. Never been out there before, did not have CDL license, didn't know what, anything about how the stuff worked out there. He was from another department. He had maybe 10, 11 years, I'm guessing, if that much in at the time. So he comes out there and they want me to show him what to do. Well, I show him what to do and all that stuff, and kind of help him along, get it done. Well, he gets the big money and I'm getting the same thing I'm always getting. Well, finally, when I decided that I wasn't going to do the leave program no more, someone at City Hall, I don't know if they thought there might have been a lawsuit or what the problem was, put me in management. So for the last year and a half, I was in management at Public Works Department. There was a man that was over me that had all kind of less years, that didn't have the experience I had, and I had been in that department since 1979. And I'm going to ask you, do you think it is fair for a man that's got 2 kids, a wife, a mortgage, and trying to survive to work all that many years in the Public Works Department or any department here in the city, and somebody else just comes up and they hire somebody in that slot? Do you think that was fair?
Oh, no, not at all.
Okay, well, how can you tell us that, we need to put other people off the street into positions when they had never worked here, they had never came up from the rank and file? I think if you're going to work for the city, you need to come up from the rank and file.
Let me address that question. I'm so
Okay.
glad you asked.
And wait a minute, let me finish. I got one more thing.
Okay.
And
You said
the whole,
you said you were wrapping it up.
I'm wrapping it up. I'm wrapping it up.
Allow me to answer.
At the time when that guy got the job, they didn't post a job. They didn't know interviews. I didn't have any way of getting to the job. They didn't have anything at that time.
Okay.
But you understand where I'm coming from.
Oh,
I don't
very
want to
much
have.
so. Very much
Okay,
so.
I want to make sure you understand where I'm coming
you-
from.
You got a raw deal, very raw deal, and you compound that 10 times, and that's what black folks have to go through. As bad as yours is, the blacks is 10 times worse than that, and you definitely got a raw deal. Now, I have never said to anyone, it may have brought a similar matter up to me, asked me if I've been working on a job 15 years and a position come open, do I think I deserve it? I said yes. But my point is, I've never told anybody to put anyone anywhere. My thing is giving the opportunity. If you just block them, they would never get it, especially black. We last on anything anyway. Give them
It looks like me being my color was last on that job.
All I'm asking for is the opportunity. You can post a job, but look at the personal record. And all these people, none of them coming off the streets. But I'm just saying that in all type of business jobs, there are people that are brought in, folks have been there for years. Not only here, that works. That's just part of this country. But I understand where you're coming from. My thing is give the individual an opportunity. If they don't fit, they can't force you to hire anybody. But at least just don't block them. Don't let them do anything. Give them a chance. I'm asking for the opportunity. Like I said, you all got the whole pie. I'm just asking for the opportunity for people to get a slice of the pie. That's all. If they don't get it, they still don't get it. But at least don't block them from getting the opportunity.
But you're not saying that I wasn't qualified, are you?
No.
After
No.
I'd run the job
You
for 2
were
or 3
qualified.
years, I just want to make sure you wouldn't
You
say I
got
was qualified.
shafted.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
You got shafted.
Okay.
And you see how we feel, but you got shafted.
What
Thank
is
you, Mr.
this?
President.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sorry to take so much time, but I wanted to,
Thank you.
let Mr. Coe exactly know what happened to me and where I came from. And I'd be glad when he comes back again, we could have a little bit different conversation about it.
Well, maybe you can make an appointment with him and you all can meet in his office, and have a discussion.
Well, this is like when people come, and kind of talk to us about this kind of stuff, I want to make sure that we're all on the same page and we all know what's going on,
Okay.
about the situations.
Due
Thank you,
to-
Mr. Coe, for listening to me. I appreciate
Can I
that.
ask the question?
You may, if she'll let you.
Do you blame the employees for that, or do you blame the administration? They did that to you, not the employees at Public Works. Okay,
Yeah.
that's all I want to say.
That-
Leave
that-
it alone.
Discussion is over. This
Yes,
is the
ma'am.
announcements, please. Due to the upcoming Christmas holidays, there will be no city council work session or meeting on Tuesday, December the 25th, 2018. Due to the New Year's holidays, the next city council meeting will be held on Wednesday, January the 2nd, 2019, at Gadsden City Hall, 90 Broad Street, and the work session will begin at 10, and the council meeting will begin at 11. The garbage schedule for Christmas week, Tuesday's route will be collected on Wednesday, which is December the 26th, and the landfill will be closed Monday and Tuesday. And the garbage schedule for New Year's, Tuesday's route will be collected Wednesday, January the 2nd, and the landfill will be closed on Tuesday. I'm not gonna even ask. This council meeting is adjourned.
Amen.